بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. كيف حالكم؟ الحمد لله. Beloved brothers and sisters in Islam, we started the section of the Jumu'ah Salah last week. And this week, inshallah, we're continuing. We're just looking at very short ruling or few rulings related to the Jumu'ah. We are looking at the shurut for the performance of the Jumu'ah, the conditions for the performance of the Jumu'ah. And there are three conditions that should be met. So the author indicates وَشَرَائِطُ فِعْلِهَا ثَلَاثَةً, that there are three conditions for the performance of the Jumu'ah. أن تكون البلد مصرا أو قرية وأن يكون العدد 40 من أهل الجمعة وأن يكون الوقت باقيا فإن خرج الوقت أو عدمت الشروط صليت ظهرا. So the author indicates three conditions for the Jumu'ah. The first, that it has to be performed in a city or town. Right? So the Jumu'ah is performed in a city or town. What is really interesting when we look at this particular fiqh ruling is that the madhahib differ extensively on what is a town, not a city. A city is established. But a town, which would be a smaller place, maybe a suburb towards the outskirts of an existing city, or distance between a city and a town. There's a lot of opinions regarding that. And I wouldn't want to keep us here till Fajr going through them. But to summarize, and I'll maybe take the Shafi'i view. So the Shafi'i view is that for a place to be considered a town, it must have a ruler. So we would use today's context, maybe a mayor. And it must have an Islamic ruler, an authority that provides Islamic teachings and authority in that place. And in that manner, and other ulama have added on by saying there must be a school, there must be a marketplace, there must be a hospital. If you meet those conditions, it then becomes a separate town, and therefore it can take on Jumu'ah. So that is the one. And then just linked to this as well is Imam Shafi'i's views regarding performing Jumu'ah open air. So the general ruling is that it should be performed in a place that is built up. So a common question, I think I received it last year, is if we are camping at Skunis. This was the exact question. If there are enough people camping at Skunis, can they perform Jumu'ah on their own? Valid question. Or should they go down to PS Street or Rudolph Street and so forth? So in accordance with the classic view within fiqh, it's not a built-up area, and therefore it would be best to go to a masjid if a masjid is easy to travel to. But if the people cannot travel, their cars don't work for whatever reason, then there would be permissibility. But the preference is to go to a built-up place. The second condition which we have in the Shafi'i madhab is that you need 40 individuals who are baligh for a Jumu'ah Salah. This ruling, just by the way, when it came to COVID, there were different rulings that the ulama provided because of special circumstances. So the 40 number was, considered, but because of medical reasons, the fatwa committees then ruled on a lower number. But the classic number is 40 qualifying individuals for the Jumu'ah. And then the last condition is that there must be time remaining for the Jumu'ah. So if the time has passed, then of course you can no longer perform Jumu'ah. So if the waqt of Dhuhr has passed, for whatever reason, that group of people, even if they met the number and they are in a city, if you are a big group, 50 people traveling, you can't make Jumu'ah or beyond the waqt of Dhuhr. Okay, so if the time has passed, the time has passed. And if any of these conditions are not met, If it is not a city or town, or you don't have 40, or there's no time, then you will perform Dhuhr Salah in that instance. So let's say you attend a Masjid Jumu'ah, you want to perform the Jumu'ah, but you get there and the Imam, has made Taslim, has greeted, the Salah is done, and now you reach the Masjid at that point. If you're going to make and you find a few other people are late, if you don't meet the total of 40, then of course you can't make Jumu'ah. You would then make Dhuhr Salah in that masjid if you were late. But if you do have a big group, I know my colleague in Scotland, his masjid has 3 Jumu'ahs because of the number of people. So they have it scheduled, after each other, because the masjid can only take X amount of people, and there's far, too many Muslims for that particular suburb. So you can have multiple Jumu'ahs, provided you meet the minimum number. And that is our short lesson for today, inshallah. Any questions? Lots of questions. Inshallah, you'll WhatsApp the questions. Jazakallah khairan wa sallallahu wa sallam alayhi wa alhamdulillah rabbil alamin.